A group of activities we call exercises of practical life, or EPL, are the starting point of this path. These activities help the child coordinate movement. The coordination is achieved by the child's intelligence, will, and motor abilities beginning to work together. The child is given the opportunity to do purposeful activities with the freedom to choose the activity he wants to work on at his own rhythm. The teacher sets certain boundaries regarding courtesy to be followed in the casa. These are demonstrated through grace and courtesy activities, as well as the way the teacher carries herself and speaks. Some examples of grace and courtesy activities are how to shake hands, observing another child at work, how to walk, and greeting a person. Thus, the child becomes responsible towards the environment around him, meaning the other children, the adult, and the materials in the casa. A recap around discipline. Discipline is not enforced through rewards and punishment, rather through freedom of learning and through trial and error, and slowly developing an inner compass for what is right and wrong. Broadly speaking, there are 4 stages in the child's path to discipline. 1. Coordination of movement. 2. Strengthening of will, seen in the ability to make independent choices regarding the materials to work with. 3. Attention being focused. We now see intense involvement when performing a chosen activity. We see repetition of the activity with interest, reaching a state of concentration. However, concentration may be intermittent. 4. Consistent self-control. Through repetition of activities to achieve perfection, the child reaches a state of concentration that helps forming an inner order. This, in turn, leads to inner discipline. This discipline leads to his interest being very focused, and this leads to a normalized child, or a child in control of himself. Let's review that once again, shall we? A simple example of coordination of movement is the child beginning to walk inside the casa in measured steps instead of running. An example of strengthening of will is the child deciding on the material to work with instead of being nudged by the adult with choices. Polarization of attention means the child is intensely working with the chosen material. The child repeats the activity with interest and also reaches a state of concentration. However, concentration may be intermittent. You will see the child being distracted for periods of time before he returns once again to the activity. Through repetition to achieve perfection, the child reaches a state of concentration that helps with his inner order. This leads to inner discipline, which leads to focusing of interest, which finally leads to a work attitude being built by the child. In other words, a normalized child who wants to achieve meaningful work in the casa and outside too. Stay with us for the concluding part of this topic.